All right, let's get right into it. Today we're going to talk about a pretty huge idea that could fundamentally change our digital lives. It's a vision being pushed by a company called LINKSPREED, and it goes way beyond just another social network.
But first, let me ask you something. Does the internet today just feel kind of broken? You know that feeling, right? When you're just endlessly scrolling, you're exhausted by all the noise, and you get that sneaking suspicion that you're not the customer, you're the product. Well, you're definitely not alone in feeling that way.
And you know what? That feeling, it isn't just in your head. The whole idea we're diving into today is based on the argument that our digital world has hit a breaking point. The old way of doing things just isn't working anymore, and that's setting the stage for something totally new.
Okay, so to really get where we might be going, we got to understand where we've been, right? So let's do a super quick history of the internet, from its humble beginnings to the wild digital worlds we're talking about now.
It all started with Web 1, which was basically a giant digital library. You could look, but you couldn't really touch. Then, boom, Web 2 arrived. That's the internet we all know. Social, interactive, and totally dominated by a few giant companies. Web 3 was the rebellion against that, all about decentralization and taking back ownership. But it's been, well, a bit chaotic and fragmented. And that brings us to what's next, Web 4, which is being framed as the Internet of Communities.
So all that history leads us right here. We're now talking about Web 4. And it's important to see this not just as a simple upgrade, but as a whole new philosophy for how we live online. An internet that's actually built around communities.
So what does that even mean? Well, what's really key here is that the complicated tech stuff, it's supposed to become invisible. It just works in the background. Think of it like the plumbing in your house. You don't care how it works, you just want water when you turn on the tap. The goal isn't just to own a piece of the network, which was a big Web 3 idea, but to actually live in a digital community where the tech makes your life better.
And this is the fundamental shift. Web 2 is extractive. It's like a giant corporation that moves into town, sucks up your attention and data for its own profit, and ships the money out. The Web 4 model is supposed to be generative. It's more like a local farmer's market. The value that's created by the community stays in the community. You stop being a resource and start being a citizen.
Right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? How do you build a real economy like that? Well, the secret sauce that LINKSPREED is betting on is this idea they call the farm and spend model. This is the engine that's supposed to power everything.
And this quote from the founder, Mark Hardina, just nails it. Farm money and spend like a micro ecosystem. Now, farm money sounds a little crazy, I know, but the idea is simple. Your contributions, your effort, your creativity, they should create real spendable value, not just likes and engagement points.
So this whole model stands on three main pillars that all have to work together. First, you need a place for it to happen, the microcity. Second, you need a way to actually earn, that's the farming. And third, you need a way to use what you earn, that's the spending. Let's dig into each one. Pillar 1 is all about the infrastructure. So forget about those one-size-fits-all chaotic platforms. We're talking about creating thousands of small, specialized microcities for specific interests. Imagine a digital town just for urban gardeners, or one just for indie musicians. No random noise, just focused spaces with their own culture.
Next up, Pillar 2, farming. And this is a game changer. Think about all the work you do online for free right now, writing thoughtful posts, helping people out, moderating a group. In the Web 2 world, that's just free labor that makes a corporation rich. Here, that work is the farming. It's meant to generate tangible value that goes directly back to you and your digital city.
And finally, Pillar 3 closes the loop, spending. This is what turns it into a real circular economy. The value you farm inside your microcity isn't just some abstract number. You can actually spend it right there. Maybe you buy a guide from another member or pay for a digital tool they built. It keeps the commerce and value right inside the community, making it self-sustaining.
So when you put all these pieces together, the microcities, the farming, the spending, the ambition is pretty clear. This is a direct challenge to the big dogs of the internet. It means taking on what this framework calls the digital megacities, which is no small task.
And we all know who these megacities are. Your Facebooks, your X's, your TikToks, they're the giants we all live in. But the argument is that they've gotten too big to control, and because they're so centralized, their main priority is profit, not necessarily the well-being of their citizens.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is all a cool theory, but is it real? Well, check out this number.
Over 150,000. That's how many communities LINKSPREED is apparently already providing the technical backbone for. So yeah, this isn't just a blueprint on a napkin. The foundation is actively being built.
And that gets to the absolute heart of it. The goal here isn't to build another single social network to replace Facebook. No way! The idea is to build the roads, the plumbing, the basic infrastructure so that 1,000 or 100,000 different communities can pop up and thrive on their own terms. So where is all this headed? In this last part, let's look at what this digital future could actually mean for you and what concrete steps are being taken to make it all happen.
Well, the roadmap is ambitious, to say the least. It includes rolling out no-code tools so that anyone, and I mean anyone, can launch their own microcity. Then there's integrating a universal identity, which is like a digital passport so you can move between these cities securely. And finally, they're expanding an AI model to help these communities basically govern themselves effectively.
And it all comes down to this one powerful statement. We've all heard the saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. For years, that's been the unspoken rule of the internet. This new model wants to completely tear up that rulebook. It's about shifting from being a product that gets sold to a citizen who has a real voice.
So this vision of a new digital frontier, it's not some far-off what-if anymore. It's a what's next. It's asking all of us to shift from being passive consumers to active builders. The only real question left is a simple one. Are you ready to farm, spend, and thrive?